Greetings to you all. Today I just want to talk to you on 4 anchors which we require in our lives. There was a boat moving towards Italy carrying the prisoners. As the ship was going, the wind started slowly, stronger and stronger, and became a storm. The ship was caught in the storm in the middle of the sea. The sailors somehow wanted to save the ship and the people in the ship. So they tried all their best. They started unloading all the heavy weights into the sea, including their food. This was going on for some time. They lost the sleep and they were not taking food for a long time. And it was raining too. So at that time, so they thought somehow they have to save the ship and the people. So they put the anchors, 4 anchors they put to somehow stabilize the ship and save the people and the ship. But their anchors did not do its work. All the 4 anchors failed. The ship got battered, smashed into the rocks, and gone into pieces. Yes, the ship could not be saved. But there was a man in the ship who also had 4 anchors in his life to save himself and also the persons sailed with him. You all know who I am talking to. Yes, it is Saint Paul. This we see in Acts chapter 27, verses 14 to 44. When the ship was in trouble, 4 anchors were put. This we see in Acts chapter 27, verse 29. They were afraid that the ship would go on the rocks, so they lowered the 4 anchors from the back of the ship. All their efforts, the anchors, could not save the ship. But this one man who had 4 anchors in his life saved the people and himself. I want to talk to you on that 4 anchors today. The first anchor is the presence of God. We require the presence of God in our lives to stabilize when the trouble comes, when the storm comes, when the problem comes in our lives, because we are like a ship sailing on the water. Yes, our life is like a ship. In the troubled water, we have to save our lives. We require anchors. The first anchor is the presence of God. Moses, when he started his journey, he had a lot of problems. When God told Moses to redeem the people from Egypt to Israel, what did Moses say? He pleads God. God, your presence is required. That's what we see in Exodus chapter 33:15. Moses said to God, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. Lord, if you are not coming with me, I cannot go on. Because Moses knew the presence of God is very, very important. Because the presence of God in the form of cloud in the day and a fire in the night only could lead them. Hallelujah. Yes. There was a boy who was growing up, and as he was about to go to school, mother thought that to take him to school and to bring him back to school, he requires one person. So he appointed one person to take care of him. So the boy was taken to school, and after school is over, the boy was brought to home by this person, and that person was paid. This was going on for some time. In the first year it was okay, As he went to second year and third year, his friends started teasing him, saying that, see, you require someone to help you all the time. So this boy felt very bad and shy. So he talked to his mother saying that I don't require this person to take care of me. I will take care of. I will go myself and I will come. After some times, the mother also agreed, okay, now you go. Tomorrow onwards this person will not come. So this boy started going to school and coming from school. After a year or two, this boy started telling his friends and all his people, you see, now I'm grown up. Nobody can scare me. You see, I myself go to school and come from school alone and nobody there with me and I take care of myself. Then the mother said, yeah, do you know that nobody is coming? When you leave the house, I follow you behind you without your knowledge. And at 3 o'clock when the school closes, I was there to take care of you, to see how you are coming, how you are moving, and follow you to the home without your knowledge. Because whenever you require my presence, I am there on the spot. Hallelujah. God's presence is there, even without our knowledge. That's what Moses knows. And he said, Lord, your presence is required. Without your presence, I cannot move on. My dear brothers and sisters, in this world, the first anchor in our life is the presence of God. Today, many of us do not have this presence of God. Whenever we want, we go to God. Not all the time. But here, Paul says in chapter 27, verse 23, for there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am and whom I serve. Paul knows the angel of God has come from God because God knows where Paul is going. In Psalms 139, if you read, it's beautifully written. Lord, you know my sitting. You know my standing. You know where I am going. Every part, every moment, Lord, you know me. If you read Bible, Psalms 139, verses 2 onwards, it says, you know my sitting down, my rising up. You understand my thoughts afar off. You comprehend my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. And there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Where can I go from your spirit, or where can I flee from your presence? Yes, we cannot. God's presence is there. Do you want God's presence to be with you? Many of us want God's presence whenever we want it. Yes, it's not that we want to be with God all the time. It's the difference between contact and connection. Many of us would like to have contact but not connection with God. You know, the contact will become a connection only when you put this switch. The switch, people want to keep it with themselves. Once a person went and asked Swami Vivekananda, what is the difference between contact and connection? Then Swami Vivekananda asked him, how is your father? Then this man was really perplexed. I am asking about the difference between contact and connection. What does it to do with my father's well-being? Why are you asking this? Again Swami Vivekananda asked him, how is your father? My father must be okay. Then Swami Vivekananda asked him, when did you see him? about 5 years back. When did you talk to him? About 6 months back. Then he asked her, when did you talk to your son? Oh, yeah, today morning. When did you talk to your wife? Today morning before leaving office. Leaving for office. Oh. So, the difference between contact and connection is this. What you have with your father is contact, but what you have with your son and wife is connection. You do not have a fellowship with your father. You do not talk to him daily. Whereas you talk to your son, you talk to your wife daily. How many of us are talking to our God daily? How many of us want to be in the presence of God? Because presence of God only can lead us. Here, Paul knows that where he moves, where he goes, what is his condition? God knows, because he is always in the connection with God. That's why he says, the God whom I serve and God whose I am, he sent the angel. My dear friend, first of all, let us have the relationship, the presence of God with us. And Joshua, when after Moses died, was in real trouble. So God talked to Joshua saying that, you do not worry, my presence will come with you. I will be with you. That's what he says in Joshua chapter 1 verses 1 onwards. After the death of Moses, the servant of God, Lord said to Joshua, son of Nun, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you all these people, get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I am about to give you. Here, they have to start the journey, but God says to them, my presence will go with you in your journey. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. And no one will be able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swear to their ancestors to give them. Be strong and courageous, because I am coming with you. You do not have to worry. I am going to lead you. I am going to safeguard you. I will protect you. My presence will go before you. Hallelujah. The first anchor we require is the presence of God. Second is, if you see in verses 24 to 25, is the second anchor which Paul puts is the anchor of promise. The promise of God is in the Bible. How many of us holding on to the promise of God? See here, it says in verse 24 to 25, Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought to Caesar, and lo, God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. It is the promise God gives to Paul. And Paul was very clear. It is a promise of God. And I will hold on to the promise. God has told me. And definitely He is going to do it. Because the word of God says in Romans chapter 4 verse 21, what He promises, He is able to perform. Whatever God says, He will fail not. He will definitely perform it. The word of God is full of promises. We have 7,847 promises from God to men. Yes. And every promise of God is true. In our stormy life, when the wind blows, hold on to the promise of a God. Open your Bible. Read what God says to you and hold on to it. That is the anchor. Yes, every promise will strengthen you. When you are weak and tired and getting worn out, hold on to the promise and pray to God. Lord, you have said this. It is in the Bible. Lord, I'm holding on to the promise. And Lord, you do it. Yes, this is the second promise. That's what here Paul says. Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought to Caesar, and God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. God has promised me life and all the people who are traveling with me. I am holding on to the promise. Hallelujah. And the third promise is the plan of God. And it very clearly says, the same word 24, fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar. Yes, there is a work assigned to Paul. He is on a mission, doing God's work. He has to present himself before Caesar. And he has to proclaim the word of God. So, he is going towards that, and Paul knows he is on a mission. He is on a purpose. My dear friend, God has a purpose for you. You are not born into this world just like that, like any other animals. God has planned. In Jeremiah verses 29, verse 11 says, for I know the plans I have for you, a plan to prosper and not to harm you, plan for hope and future. God has a plan of hope and future. Yes, world may say, others may say, you are a failure. But God who has chosen you for a purpose, He has His own plan. He is a designer. You have to achieve it. Yes, hold on to the plan of God. Do not deviate. And Paul knows, unless he meets Caesar, nothing is going to happen. That's what he says. Psalms 139, verse 13 onwards. You see how psalmist says, Lord, I'm not created just like that. For you created my innermost being. I came into this world not because I'm just born, but because you created me for a purpose. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Before I was born, Lord, you knew me and what I'm going to be and how I'm going to be. Everything you are written. So nothing is going to happen without your knowledge. Hallelujah. God has a plan, a purpose in your life. Till you achieve it, nothing is going to happen. And Paul knew this. That's why he says, I'm not going to die in this shipwreck, because that is not going to happen to me. I have a purpose. I have to go and accomplish God's work which is yet to be finished. Say hallelujah. Your work you have to complete. Till then, nothing, nobody can shake you. And that's what, unless God's plan is done, your life is not going to be taken away from you. Say hallelujah. Nobody can threaten. No sickness will threaten you. No harm will come to you. He is there to protect you because you have come into this world for a purpose. And the fourth anchor is the belief on God, the trust. That's what he says in verse 25. He says, I trust in God and it will be just as I was told. God told me that I have to go to Caesar. So, I believe that. I believe God's word. He is unfailing God. Whatever He says, He will do it. That's what it says. Verse 34 says, not even hair of yours will be lost. He gave thanks to God before them. He says to all the other sailors, do not worry. Not even a strand of your hair will fall. Because my God has told me that none of us are going to die. So whatever my God says, I believe in Him. Say hallelujah. Believe in the promise of God. Believe in the power of God. Do you know the power of our mighty God? He is the God who opens the Red Sea. He divides the river Jordan. And He is the God who raises the dead. My dear friend, a God who walks on water. A God who calms the storm. The God of universe. The Creator. He is your Lord. Hold on to His power. Hold on to His strength, my dear friend. He is our God. He is able. That's what God says. Word of God, Luke chapter verse 1 and 37 says, for with God nothing shall be impossible. Everything is possible with our God. Heaven and earth is under His control. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue confess that He is Lord. Yes, He has all the power. Nothing is impossible. Jeremiah 32 verse 17 says, for thou hast made the heavens by the great power, and nothing is too hard for thee. Lord, nothing is too hard for thee. Everything is possible because you are the Creator. Hallelujah. We have such a mighty God. Hold on. Believe in His power. That is the fourth anchor you should have in your life. He is the God who keeps us safe even in the storm. Yes, you believe in His power. You believe in His power. He is a great God and He will protect you and carry you through. Hold on these four anchors. First anchor is the anchor of promise. And the second is the anchor of promise. The third is the anchor of God's plan. And fourth is the anchor of your trust in God's power. If you have these four anchors, my dear friend, you will sail through safely. Yes, trust in God. God bless you. Amen.